everyone, welcome back to Transfer Review. This right here is Stephen Howson. That right here is Old Trafford. And I am about to give you a world exclusive. Nobody else has got this news. This is the greatest news ever. I'm 100% certain in saying that I'm absolutely guaranteed I'm breaking this news here. Right, me, right? Because 24 hours ago, and he told nobody else except me, David Ornstein, my good friend David, my very good friend David, he broke the news to me that Bryan Mbeumo is a here we gizzles. So, we give it a 9 out of 10 3 weeks ago. And then we never wavered. We give it a 6 out of 10 for 2 weeks on the bounce. And we stayed strong. And we did it. Ask and ye shall be delivered. We got Bryan Mbeumo. 10 out of 10. It's done. So that's nice. See you next week. Oh, we got to do more. Okay, so yeah, all right, there we go. Bryan Mbeumo is done. After, like we've already said, we started the transfer window with a bang, didn't we? Honestly, and not just a bang, like fireworks and like cheerleaders and all sorts. There was like vol-au-vents. It was awesome. 1st of June, Manchester United went, hey, have some of that. Done. The 2nd of June, it was like, hey, we've stuck in a right good bid for Bryan Mbeumo. And we was like, wow, that's awesome. Where are we going? What's it going to look like by the 9th of June? Meanwhile, a few hours later, 2 months later, near enough, Manchester United's bid for Bryan Mbeumo eventually finds its way to someone who can do something at Brentford. They go on then. And there you go. Now, the good news is he's going to be ready for the tour. And I think that's absolutely critical, that he's going to be part of Manchester United's tour next week when everybody jets off, providing he's done his Esther. And if he was a sensible boy, he did it last week, right? You don't want to leave it till the last minute. You want to go get that shit done with a quickness, because it can be a ball bag sometimes, especially, anyway, we get into politics with America and all that lot, especially when I'm there Monday, me. So the next time I do it, I won't be there, outside Old Trafford. Where am I doing it? Where are we doing it next week? Oh, it's New York City. You might have heard of her. It's the small hamlet attached to the side of New Jersey. Now, I want your suggestions. Where do we do it? Can I do it on the Statue of Liberty's nipple? Or is that not allowed? You're not allowed to do that. Where can we do it? Where in New York City shall we do transfer review? Where you go, Steve? I would love it if you did it in wherever, right? Comment below. Where should we do it next week? In that there New York City. Right, so Bryan Mbeumo, that's a 10. Moving on. Where do we go from here? Now, at the time of recording, the ink is still wet on the here we go for Bryan Mbeumo. So do you honestly think the likes of Wilcox and that have already moved on and started accelerating stuff to the next transfer? I can't even lie to you. No, they've not. They sat down, they ordered a Greggs, they might have had a Diet Coke, and he went, oh. All right, who's next? Nicolas Jackson. Now, I know it's a low bar to be better than Rasmus Hojlund, but... And I actually think Nicolas Jackson gets a little bit of an unfair rap, but... Oh, I can't sit here and be like... Nicolas Jackson, lads. That's a bit underwhelming, isn't it? Fuck. And yeah, the same guy that was saying we should get Calvert-Lewin, I was saying we should get Calvert-Lewin as a second striker because he's free and he'll be cheap on wages, and tactically he's got a profile of a big old target unit that we need. Nicolas Jackson, all right, he's not a small fella. But, and here's the other bit. Chelsea, after swaggerjacking our number one choice of striker for 30 million, want to sell him to us for 60 million. I'm sorry. On what level is that a good deal for Manchester United? If they was offloading Nicolas Jackson for the cut price fee of like 25 mil, 30 mil, something like that, I could stand here and make a case for it. After dunking whatever on Cunha and whatever it gets reported as on Mbeumo, Do you honestly think Manchester United have got another 60 million tucked behind the cushions of the sofa? Because no, they've not. Absolutely no, they've not. We probably can't even afford the transfer fee for Calvert-Lewin. We got to do some sales, lads. So Nicolas Jackson, Manchester United. Oh, mate, it's a big old 0, isn't it? Let's start there. Let's go from a 10 to a 0 straight off the bat. Senne Lammens, goalkeeper from Royal Antwerp. He's a big old boy, for starters. Let's start right there, shall we? 6'4". Not messing with that. That is what you call primo Weatherspoon's bouncer tackle, right? So, goalkeeper, naturally. United have been looking at this kid now for 7 or 8 months, according to the reports that I've been able to go and find about him. And he was first sort of strongly linked to United back in January, when United were looking at him supposedly for a little bit of an option to if Bayern went and got some minutes somewhere. So that, to me, kind of signals we're probably looking at this guy as a second-choice goalkeeper rather than a first-choice goalkeeper, someone to replace Onana. You go and look at the data on him. The data's outrageous on him. Really, really strong data, and supposedly like 10 million euros is the price. There's been a handful of like pretty credible journalists and some not so credible journalists that have kind of started talking about him over the last 24 hours or so. I expect that to kind of continue over the weekend, because I do feel like we are in the mix for this kid. Now the question is he going to be first choice or is he going to be the backup keeper? I feel like he's probably going to be the backup, but I still think there's something going on with Emi Martinez to United. And I also don't necessarily think that that's a good idea, but I do think that United are probably going to go and try and do it. So, Lammens, I think it's probably quite likely. He did an interview all the way back in February where he was saying, if United are in, I'd have to really consider it. He's not a massive name, so it's not going to be something that... he's a massive fella, but he's not a massive name. I just think this one makes quite a lot of sense. I wonder if this is the end of Bayern at United. And I do think he's going to come in as number 2. But I also think that he's got the raw materials to eventually be the number 1. I still just think United are going to... I think they're going to bring in Martinez as well. And obviously that's going to spell the end of Onana at some point. Whether or not all of that can happen, we just took nearly 7 weeks doing a deal with a player that wanted to come to us. We were the only ones in the race, and we knew the price. So that would tell me that we're probably not going to get like 3 goalkeeper moves, 2 in, 1 out. 2 in, 2 out, actually. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So Lammens on his own, right, because there's some serious connotations going on there with all 4 of those moving. Lammens on his own, I think it's a 6 out of 10. I think there's actually something in this one. Pervis Estupinan, right? Now, apart from being the best name on today's transfer talk, transfer review, whatever, he is a left back. He's also heavily linked with a move to AC Milan. What does that mean, Steve? Means if he moves, he's clearly going to AC Milan, right? And there is 0 credible links to him going to Manchester United. It's in like Team Talk and The Sun. So does that mean we're signing him? No, obviously not. We're not signing him because I don't know if you realised we already have left backs. We got a Luke Shaw Iceland-style pizza at home, which you can have. You can have that all day long. Now, it's going to take a while to defrost and it might be injured when you get it out, right? But you've got a Luke Shaw at home. You've got a Harry Amas at home. We've got a brand new Diego Leon. He's at home, right? You've also got Dorgu, which we've only just got. So you've not finished playing with him yet. You're not getting another left back. You're not getting another left back, right? Estupinan, as great as a name as I'm talking about here, welcome to AC Milan, lad, because you're not coming to United. 0 out of 10. A load of old cake. Okay, that was the ins, and this is the outs. I'm hoping this is the meaty section and we get into some absolute pastrami going on here, because boy do we need to start making the sales. And we're going straight in with Alejandro Garnacho, right? Okay, what's going on with Alejandro Garnacho? I'll tell you what's going on with Alejandro Garnacho. Cock all. He's been linked with Aston Villa, and Aston Villa are monitoring the situation. Lads, we basically put a tweet on the official United account saying, does anyone want, come pick this lad up? You can have him. Then United, obviously someone leaked that. Then United went, hey, we want 70 million if you want to take our sofa off our lawn. But you can have it. So, the outlets that have been talking Aston Villa and Garnacho, not the greatest. We're talking like ESPN, caught offside, 442. Yeah, fun little reads if you like a little bit of like South American trivia, but not where you're going for your tier 1 transfer news. Am I right? Do I think Garnacho to Aston Villa is are we moments away from a here we go state? No, we're not, right? I know that little fucker wants to stay in the Premier League. Fine. Does he suit Aston Villa? I think he actually does suit Aston Villa, to be fair. I think it makes quite a bit of sense for him to Aston Villa, as would Rashford. We'll get on to that in a sec. And I do think that there is going to be some movement with United and Aston Villa. It seems like us looking at Martinez and being linked with Watkins, them looking at Garnacho and Rashford, doesn't mean that there's a deal on the table, but it feels like something that could happen, doesn't it? That being said, Garnacho to Aston Villa right now, in this economy, 0 out of 10. 2 City fans gone past. How mad is that? Like both the City fans in Manchester are on the same road on the same day. Alrighty, Rasmus Hojlund, AC Milan getting another shout out in transfer review. What's going on there? Please, are they just glued to Rasmus Hojlund's Serie A DVD? Because if they are, we might have a chance. If they've seen him in the last year, we don't have a chance. So AC Milan are looking for a striker. Rasmus Hojlund, who weren't bad in Serie A, to be fair to him, available at the right price, and I don't know what that price is. AC Milan strongly linked, but again, the people that are linking him, it's not the greatest outlets. It's team talk and that. It's just like, meh, innit? Know what I mean? Can I sit here and get excited? Where's the likes of Laurie and Ornstein and your big hitters? That's what we need. Now, obviously, he was heavily linked to Inter. For him to then turn up in red and black would be very interesting, wouldn't it? And maybe make them rue the day that they didn't sign Rasmus Hojlund. Or not. I would love him to not play for Manchester United. And I would happily drive him. Milan might be as far as I would drive. It's a lot of gas tanks out on a Land Rover Defender. And when it tops out at 52 mile an hour with the wind, that's a long way. And you've got to get over the Alps or through the Alps. It's a long drive, but I'd do it though. Do I see him going to AC Milan? Based on the rumours at the moment, I don't actually think this one's a 0. I don't think it's any more than a 2 out of 10 though. I think he would be up for it. I think the club would be up for it. And I actually think there is buyers, but they exist in like probably a 35-mile radius in northern Italy. And that's about the only people that are interested in signing him. So give me a shout. It's a long drive, but I can't even say I'll have a Red Bull and we'd do it. No, we're not doing that no more. Alrighty, Marcus Rashford, Barcelona. So this link keeps coming up with Barcelona and Marcus Rashford. Obviously, he's had his number taken away from him. He's clearly on the out. I still think that there's a chance that there is a way he could lead the line for Manchester United. But if the manager doesn't think that, and possibly equally as important, if the football board has decided that they want those wages off the books, then it's not going to happen, and he is definitely going to be on the out and out. I don't know where the Barcelona talk comes from, because it doesn't seem to be anyone connected with Barcelona, anyone connected with Manchester United, or anyone connected with Rashford that's like, yeah, there's talks, or like there just isn't any of that kind of noise. It's almost like we think Rashford will want to go Barcelona. We think Barcelona's the kind of club that, one, could afford him, and two, would have him. Therefore, let's make transfer rumours about it. But in reality, it doesn't actually feel like there's anything credible linking Marcus Rashford and Barcelona to a transfer this summer, other than the fact that Manchester United would absolutely sell you Marcus Rashford this summer. And that's not enough, is it? Now, Teddy Sheringham's weighed in on this a little bit. And I'm actually not 100% sure of what it is that he's trying to say. He said it's soul-destroying the way Marcus Rashford is leaving. But he also goes on and says he doesn't deserve a deal at Barcelona, which is quite an interesting way to look at it. And I get sort of what he's saying. You know, failing at Manchester United shouldn't mean that your next move is Barcelona, should it? It should be down. If you've not been good enough at Manchester United, you could even argue, I mean, they've been more successful than us recently. Like, you're falling up. That don't work. So I get what he's saying. In terms of do I think it's going to happen, I can't give it... I think there's interest, right? And I don't know why. But I got to give it a 3 out of 10. Tops, I reckon. 3 out of 10 tops. Tyrell Malacia, now, when we talk about the players that United are offloading, everyone's like, fucking Anthony, fucking Sancho, fucking Rashford, fucking, like, people forget, Garnacho, we're actually kind of like let it be known, Tyrell Malacia is right in the middle of that little quartet of players. Like, yeah, fuck him off and all. And we forget, maybe because he's not on as crazy wages, maybe because he's flopped and he's been injured and we didn't really pay a lot for him, so it's not as mental as us trying to shift the 75 million of Sancho or the 80 million of Anthony. It's not quite as crazy, is it? But he's in the mix as one of these players that we're trying to mag to grid. Who's he linked with, Steve? He's linked with might as well be Celtic lads. That's who he's linked with. And how much for? 3.2 million. Right? Do I see that happening? Yeah, that makes loads of sense for everybody involved. And so does the fee, because the fee is such a wild fee, you definitely did not make that up. No one sat there and was like, I've got a rumour for you. Send. Tyrell Malacia to Celtic for 3.2 million. Nobody has come up with that as a blag rumour. No one. No one's sitting there going, I'll get us the clicks today. Watch this. Are you ready for this? Let the fingers do the magic, right? Send. Nah, you're not writing that rumour. No one's writing that rumour down and going, job done, lads. Pint. You're not doing that. So I think that this one's got a bit of legs. Now, I need to see some more credible journalists talking about it. I need to see a little bit more movement on it. But I'm going to give it an absolutely outrageous 6 out of 10. And there we go. We're moving. United have got a whopping 2 players through the door. 21 is basically coming, I think. Now, that being said, it might be going down to Merseyside with all the players that they've signed and not coming here. But I think 21 is coming. I think it's in the can, lads. Don't worry about it. 2 players. We finished 15th. We signed 2 players. Job done, right? Hopefully not. Hopefully there's more players. But we are now on the plane, lads. We're going on the tour. By the time you lot have been watching this, United are playing Leeds in but a few hours. We get that one in the can, and then we're off to America. A little trip over there. We're playing at Bournemouth. We are playing Everton. And we are playing West Ham United. And their bubble-blowing ways, right? And you're thinking, wow, we used to play Real Madrid and, like, big teams and that, didn't we? Yeah, we did, yeah. We also didn't used to finish 15th, so it's probably linked. That being said, we'll be out there. We'll be covering it all. There's going to be a shitload of members vids. We're running Curry Heat. If you've not seen Band of Brothers, one, what have you been doing for the last 25 years of your life? Because that's ridiculous. We're running Curry Heat. Do not help that man. We're going to have spaghetti beforehand. Jay's going to throw up. It'll be fucking brilliant. But we're also going to be doing every little aspect of the tour. If you're out there on the tour, you're coming watching United on pre-season, we will see you right there. We're covering the whole thing. And the next transfer review will be in New York. I want to know exactly where you want me to do it. Get it in the comments below. And where's the one after that? Ooh, it could be in between. Not sure. I think it'll be in Atlanta. So, whereabouts in Atlanta do we need to do transfer review from? But we'll talk about that in New York next week. Bye-bye.